start streaming.
I gotta wait for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for it to like turn up. Hopefully it starts. Streaming health is yellow. I don't know why it's yellow. I'm live apparently. I mean, but it's not green. It's not green, so I'm a bit concerned. Like, I mean, it says I'm live, but I'm just gonna refresh my page.
Or is it Memorex?
I don't know. It could be. I don't know. I'm very new to this. Okay, we're up and running. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Questionable Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan. This is the show where we ask questionable questions with questionable people. Yes! Get in there! Woo!
Well, you finally got it. I mean,
I got it.
Before.
I know, right?
You were saying before that you were going to butcher it up, and sure enough, you got it this time.
I mean, I'm happy. Like, it seems... I'm just going to turn you guys up a bit. So they probably going to overcompensate.
I'm gonna go spread this link around.
I need to try and find. That's what I'm gonna actually just go to there, have a look. Hopefully it's that's still fine. I don't want to be there, guys. I know, like at the minute we have no listeners, but like for anyone who listens to this back, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Boy.
I'm
not sorry at all.
I'm not. No, I like making a tit of myself. I'm good at it.
I'll be right back.
Well, this is just.
Oh shit! I think he's trying to take himself out back and shoot himself.
I like making a tit of myself. I'm good at it.
I'll be right back.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna copy that. I think my sound's coming out monotone. That's fucking right. Right. And I'm gonna post that in there, and then I'm gonna hit enter. Right. Okay. How is everybody?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. Not bad. I finished work like 45 minutes ago. It's just been a mad dash. Like, this is like people have dropped out, so I'm like, guys, help. I'm gonna look a right tit.
There's no help for you, man.
There's no help.
There is
for
no
any of
help.
us.
I've got the wrong background up on the stream. This is episode 2. Bollocks! And you know something? Leave. It doesn't matter. I'm leaving it as it is. I'm it's just a faff.
It's
Alright, I'm back.
1.2.
Alright, I'm back.
Episode 1 was pre-recorded with myself, Austin, and Phoenix, who are other hosts. You guys know Austin, Lan. I think my cat's meowing. Shut up, please. I'm trying to work.
So, should we get started with our first topic?
We should.
Why not?
Why not?
Well, Jake's still MIA for the moment. I mean,
No,
for
no,
all we
I'm
know-
here.
Oh, shoot.
He's here.
So we're all here. We're all here?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, we're all
Wherever
here.
we are, we're here.
Awesome. Oh, dear me.
Okay, so who wants?
Right, so...
Nobody.
I'm thinking, like, start off a bit soft. We don't want to go in too hard. We don't want to, like...
That's
True.
what she said.
Yeah, boy.
That's what she said.
So...
Right, hell.
Cherry Pepsi is better than regular Pepsi.
I agree with
Just
this.
kidding.
In a wholehearted fashion.
Personally, I
It's
like
just brown,
no
fizzy water what tastes good.
I guess I'm the outcast.
You guys have got hurricanes going on.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Well, that hurricane completely, like, it didn't really do anything to us down here in Florida. But I heard it was hitting the Carolinas and Georgia pretty hard.
I saw this...
The current death toll, I believe, is 5 from the hurricane. Millions without power.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
And the news media hypes it up like it's the latest thing since sliced bread.
Well, it's weird. I saw this video on Facebook, which it pretty much was. It summed up America in general. It was brilliant. It was this metalhead, just shorts on, holding onto the American flag, like friggin' head banging whilst the fucking hurricane winds are just gushing at him. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what?
To be honest,
Yep.
I've done that. I walked out in hurricanes. I don't care.
Jesus.
I don't mind.
Hurricanes here in Florida are natural. I mean, all it is a
This was
glorified
when I was
frickin'
in New
thunderstorm.
Jersey.
It's
But
mental.
when Hurricane Sandy came through New Jersey, it completely wrecked the state. Yeah, I was out there walking around in the rain and in the wind, like giving no fucks.
Jesus Christ. You're mental. The lot of you're all mental.
I remember
Well,
What do you think
well,
we're here?
it was
Well,
a
and
long
here-
time ago.
And here's the thing: you grow up around this kind of weather all your life. You get used to it. You
Yeah.
don't think nothing of it. Whereas all these people that aren't used to it, that aren't getting used to getting hit by these hurricanes, they expect to, they don't know how to react. Just like these
Exactly.
idiots that stayed, even though they were given an evacuation order to get the heck up out of there, that decided to stay and then realized, oh, that was a mistake because one, we have no power now. Two, our houses are flooded. And then they expect
Go on.
the government to pay for everything.
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
Like down here in Florida, whenever we get an emergency order from our governor to, bunker down, they try to evacuate as many people as they can, but it's required for us, to get water, food beforehand.
Basic necessities.
And people, they supply themselves week before, like weeks before it hits.
I mean, we get so where I'm from, little town, we get flooded a lot. Like where I'm on the hill. I'm on the hills, so I never get flooded. But people in the lower valleys,
You just got to worry about the landslides.
Oh no, we don't get landslides. It's because it's like the rivers on the other side of me, so I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm
What we
safe.
have to worry about down here in Florida is new sinkholes opening up.
I've seen those. It's freaking crackers. Mental.
Yeah, they become big.
Um,
It's insane.
if you live on the banks of the river, most insurance companies now, they just don't insure you. If you live within a distance, no matter how high up you are, if you live within a certain distance of a river, especially because of how bad it's been in the past couple of years, insurance companies now are just no, we're gonna be paying you out next year. No. So yeah, a lot of companies and that, they don't get insurance and stuff.
Here's what the Weather Channel website is showing in regards to the hurricane. And this was posted about 2 days ago. Hurricane Florence assaults North Carolina, leaving major damage and nearly 300,000 without power and 150 awaiting rescue.
Wow, that's crackers. I mean, we've had floods where people have needed rescuing, the helicopters and the fire brigade have had to get in boats and shit, and the flood water's come to second story level and stuff. That tends to happen more down south. It has happened up here, not to that extent, but it's more down south, where it's flatter, so there's just no the water just rises.
Yeah, and then not to mention, they're getting hit with 10-foot storm surges, at least 20 inches of rain, according to this article, and that's in 2 different locations.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I've always noticed about our in contrast to your news and how it's presented to you and our news. If there's a flood, there's a flood. We're okay. You guys are it's mental. There's a flood! Everybody run! I seem to have noticed.
Now the funny thing is, in 1989 there was a Hurricane Hugo that almost followed the same track that Florence is. I was getting out of the core then, and I swear, it chased me all the way down I-40 out of the state.
Pretty much made sure you got up out of there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
We told you to run, boy. You're gonna run.
So I
Run,
remember,
bitch, run!
I forget what year it was, but I was fairly young. I was still in elementary school, and what was funny is a hurricane was happening not far from, like, I think just the next state over, and we were feeling the wind effects from it. Well, we're outside still, and this is how smart, and I use quotations, but it was a great idea. My school was, oh, they'll be fine. No hurricane's gonna hit them. And I kid you not, kids were literally getting pushed by the wind on the ground on cement,
Jesus
on paving.
Christ.
People getting knocked back, and it's like, okay.
See, for me, this is proof God is British. We don't get hurricanes. We don't get earthquakes. Now and again, we might get a little twister just to keep people in Wales and that on their toes. But you don't shit on your own doorstep. Proof.
Well, I mean, that or he just forgot that you guys exist. Too soon?
I'm not opening that can of worms.
Wait, did we all introduce ourselves yet?
No, actually, I haven't.
We have
Guys,
not. Wow, and here we are already talking about stuff.
I know. Well, there was a. I started the stream and I was like, guys, I don't know if it's working. I don't know what's working. Guys, it's working. It's working. Shit. So there's a whole section of the front of the video where it's just gonna be me like panicking, like, guys, I know what's going on. It's like having a meltdown.
But here's an update that I just found on the information from that Hurricane Florence. At least 8 dead in North Carolina, while 800,000 are still without power.
Flipping out.
That's because they're underwater.
Under the sea. Too soon. Too soon.
And it's expensive
Under
to
the sea.
And didn't you know it's expensive to
Oh,
pay to
by
have
the way.
electricity underwater?
By the way, forgot to tell us who everybody is now.
We know we've just said that. It's like, right, guys, well, we'll work from the top. Obviously, they know me. I'm the gobby Brit. But we'll work from the top and we'll go down.
Okay.
Oh, am I at the top?
You're at the top.
Damn it, man.
On my screen, it's Jake.
Moroku's first. Technically, Moroku's first.
Is it Moroku? Or is
Yeah, it is.
All right, David.
it?
And Goliath.
Oh, daddy.
Oh, baby.
Right.
Oh, boy.
So we'll work from the top, we'll work our way down, introduce yourselves, and go.
Who's at the top?
David, you're at the top.
Ah, you snob.
God damn it!
You know, we haven't even been at this, like, we haven't even practiced for this.
We've been going 15 minutes and all the audience know is I'm called Nathan and there's a fucking hurricane going on. That's it! They don't know who we're talking to. They just know the basic news of the world anyway.
I'll start it off. I'm Patrick, other known as Yang's Vengeance. Nice to meet y'all.
I'll stick his link to YouTube channel down below.
Please do.
I'll do that.
I'll give you the link.
I know you did. Did you?
No, I did not yet. I
No,
said
you
I will.
didn't. I'll stick that in. Make sure you guys go check it out. Next, Mercy, go.
Well, they call me Mercy, but there is no mercy here. I'm an R-rated Andy. And for those of you with the English persuasion, that really gets a chuckle out of you. I don't know why.
What? R-rated Andy.
What?
An R-rated Andy.
Well, now you're called Andy.
No. No. Put an R in front of it.
Ah, see what you did there? I am an idiot.
I mean, you said it.
You said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
Look, it's been a long day. I've just got off an 11-hour shift. Like, this is not good for my brain.
I just got off a 10-hour shift.
Yeah, exactly.
Short, like, it's 2 hours shorter than yours, but, you know, I'm still functioning like a human being.
I just got up from a nap.
That sounds nice right about now.
I mean, I just woke up around 4-ish, so...
I love it how we went from, okay, let's introduce ourselves, to nap.
Jake, go.
Huh.
Well, I'm Jake from State Farm.
Farm.
I am not wearing my khakis, but I am wearing a red shirt.
God damn it, Jake! This is why we can't have good things!
This is a Sans Pants podcast?
I mean, it could be worse.
Well, this is getting
You
sensitive.
could be hanging out.
I'm waiting for that email.
I think this is going rather well.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the email. Sir, your video has been demonetized because it has not been seen as ad user friendly. Like,
I never get emails like that.
Doesn't matter. The internet's gonna forget who we are in a week.
Yep.
Oh, I bet.
Unless he decides to have us back again next week.
quite
Oh,
possibly.
hell yeah.
Depends on how this goes.
Well,
I
this
want
is
to kind of make this a regular thing.
that's the plan. I trialed it. Well, I didn't trial it. It was more of a pre-recorded one I did with a couple of people.
Yeah, for like almost 2 hours.
Yeah, but like the thing
Yeah,
was,
I saw that.
we were stuck in a meeting, and then by the time we got out of the meeting, for me it was 4 a.m. So I didn't stop recording until 6 o'clock in the morning. I had work like 4 hours later. I was like, what were you doing last night? Tormenting myself. That's what I was doing. Fucking tormenting myself. Ugh.
Well, you shouldn't pull it that hard.
Ah, Jesus. Right. Okay.
Alright,
David.
Ah, damn it. Hi, I'm David. My friends call me Miro. Nice to meet you.
Okay, Cletus, we get it.
Get her done.
Okay. Okay.
You kissing cousins?
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
We've opened up
At
a bag
Game
of
of
worms.
Thrones.
Poor Nathan.
See, Nathan?
He's
See,
surrounded
Nathan?
by Americans.
Yeah. I was lucky last time because I had myself, Felix, who's Canadian, and then there was Austin, who's American. So like, it was well balanced. I didn't actually realize the mistake I had made when
I can't respect Canadians because of one thing. Well, actually, two things. Well, the first one, their largest riot, in my opinion, was one guy, standing there holding a sign saying, "I'm a little bit upset." The second thing is fake ass bacon.
So,
I do not like their bacon.
I am
Oh.
completely
It is
lost
fake.
now. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah. This is what we're talking about. We're giving a shout out to all those that are definitely watching this.
So I'm
Is everybody
definitely.
watching this?
Well, also, okay. There's also a new term that me and the general public, well, at least my friends have come up with, is they're no longer called Canadians. They are called Northern Mexicans.
Wow!
We're definitely getting demonetized for that.
Jeez.
No,
Say,
no, listen.
say goodbye
listen,
to all our sponsors.
Jake.
Yes.
The Canadians
have
have never
sponsors?
even heard of Mexicans because they have the best fence in the world.
Yeah.
The United States of America.
So do you see how much of a great joke that was?
Questionable. I'll give it that.
God damn it, now we gotta build a wall on the northern border too.
This
well,
is fun 'cause
well,
I don't.
you know, Trump's gonna do that anyways. I mean, hell, he's already fucking up a deal with Canada anyways.
We were just about to
I
call it
prefer
Canada.
It creates jobs at least for
He
our
was gonna
economy.
call it Canada. But it's okay.
I'm all for the wall. It's
They'll-
just something that
But
I
then
wanna
again,
see
Terrence and
happen
Phillip
because,
can't get here.
again, like I said, it's going to boost our economy. It's going to make jobs, and it's going to help us out in the long run.
What, building
Yeah,
a wall?
but then here's the problem: we can't get Terrence and Phillip.
Okay, but what's the worst that could happen? People are going to get upset.
I know, right? Fucking leftists.
No, I mean,
we should
I'm
have open
saying
borders.
that. I'm even saying that as a joke because the Canadians don't get upset if something
No,
goes
they
wrong.
don't.
They just get if they get mad, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, eh?"
Yeah,
So, you know,
right.
we'll be fine. It's okay.
No, they get upset. They say, "Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker."
Well, okay. We are definitely
Oh, that
not.
reference was amazing. Yes.
It was. The funny part is,
Fucking South Park.
As I said-
God damn.
as I already said once, there goes all our sponsors.
Any future sponsorship,
You
any
had any?
deals with any Canadian product, out the window.
Gone.
Gone. I'm gonna have to start severing ties. It's gonna.
We're gonna have
You've
to
just
sell them in
ruined the
Germany or
whole-
something.
Next thing you know, friggin' Queen Liz, she's gonna get a letter from the Prime Minister. Right, we want to leave the Commonwealth. You've just started a whole new war. We've got enough to deal with as it is with Brexit, let alone fucking Canada. God.
Okay, so since you brought that up about Britain leaving the Commonwealth, personally, for Britain, I think it would be
Britain leaving the
extremely-
Commonwealth. Do you know how
Huh?
that
Yeah.
makes no sense?
Well, hold on. Let me explain. I think it would be an extremely good idea because, from what history has shown, since Britain has owned pretty much a third, like 2/3 of the entire world
It was a third, but
at
carry on.
one point,
It was
something
one.
like that.
It was one third. There
The
was a
British
saying.
has always been better off when they were in their own empire by themselves.
So, are you on about Europe or the Commonwealth? Because now I'm confused.
I'm talking about the Commonwealth itself.
Right. So,
Leaving the Commonwealth, and Britain becomes an empire again.
right.
You're
so,
not the only
yeah.
one confused.
So he's right. Okay, quick history lesson. The issue is with us. If we wanted it to be an empire again, that would mean re-invading every single one of the Commonwealth countries because
Bring
they
it
have
on, buddy.
independence.
Really?
Yes, it would because they have independence. They just happen to. What the Commonwealth is basically our monarch is their head of state. That's it. She has actually no theoretical power over them. She's very influential, but like in terms of that, there's really no to it. It's just it lets us have a sporting event every year. Commonwealth Games. Pretty jazzy. It
May the odds ever be
it
in your
makes
favor.
my passport very valuable because it means I could go to Canada without a visa.
God damn, lucky
And I
you.
can go to New Zealand without a visa. Australia are a set of cunts. I can't do that. I can't go to Australia without a visa.
Alright. Never mind. I don't want to open that can of worms.
But yeah,
I
like
remember getting stopped in Nassau this one time. I had very long hair at the time. Like it came almost down to my shoulders. It was like at the almost to the small of my neck, and I had a thick beard. And they stopped me in Nassau.
I thought that was the end of the story. Then
No,
I thought
no,
you
no,
just
no, no.
stopped. I had a thick beard.
No,
Well,
no.
guys, that's the end of the podcast.
They
Thanks for
stopped
listening.
me in Nassau, in the Bahamas, and they started searching my bags. And apparently, I look suspicious,
Yeah,
like a terrorist, for some reason.
not necessarily like a terrorist,
But,
but like,
you realize how many cops they had there trying to figure out what the hell was going on? It was Court policing ass up. God damn.
But yeah, in terms of the Commonwealth, I really Europe on the other hand, that's a different kettle of fish.
Well, didn't you guys technically leave? Well, from what I was hearing, like you guys were trying to leave the European Union,
No, we
and
are leaving
then your government went back on it, even though it was voted in
No.
favor of 51 to 49.
No, they haven't gone back on it. It's just taken longer. The thing is, right, the idea was everyone, like in the ideal situation, we had a referendum where the government was like, right, we're putting a vote out to the public. Right, we're actually going to put some power in the public's hands. So we all voted. I voted to leave. A lot of my friends, I live in the north, most of the north voted to leave.
Yeah.
And Europe seemed to be throwing a bit of a hissy fit, and they're like,
Oh, I'm sure they are.
they're just not agreeing, and it's the same with both sides. They just find it really difficult to agree on something that's going to work because we want the independence. So, like Norway, they're not part of the EU, but they have they're part of a trade thing, so they can still trade, and the citizens can still. And that's something ideally Britain wanted to do, but the EU are like, well, no. And here's the thing, I don't know if you guys notice this, but like, no one likes Great Britain in terms of Europe. None of them like us because we're stubborn. I don't know if you've met me. We're really stubborn, so it's like no, and that's for the past nearly 2 years, year and a half, pretty much. That's all that's been happening back and forth. No. So yeah, we are leaving. It's just eventually. The article that's been triggered is called an Article 40. We're the first country to trigger it. So basically, what I can see probably happening, we're just probably going to go, you know something? Fuck yourselves, we're going anywhere. And just no agreements are going to be made.
Increase trade
So-
with the US
so-
then.
So in other words, you're pulling an Eric Cartman. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing, like,
Pretty
so
much.
France, Germany, we contribute a lot of sales of their cars, and stuff like that, and their products. So it'll be tough for them. When it comes to Spain, like, Spain's a tourist country. Like, like a lot of English and, well, a lot of Brits, we go over there for holidays. Places like Benidorm, Mallorca,
Oh yeah,
Menorca,
that's a nice place.
Tenerife, all them islands, like, over the summer, so between July and August, they get flooded with Brits. Like, and so I expect what will happen is, like, we'll leave, and then we'll just make independent agreements with each country. Yeah, we've got stuff going on with US, and stuff like that. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it is.
Nah,
I mean, yeah.
It's just the beginning stages.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing, like, when the vote passed, the value of the pound dropped, right? The value of the pound is going back up, right? It's still worth more than the dollar.
Oh,
You
yeah, definitely.
still get more, the pounds, you get more dollars to the pound. So, like, and it's the same with the euro. The pound is still worth more than the euro. So, like, we're just like, fuck you. We don't care anymore. Like, hey ho.
Mhm.
I mean, your
And,
economy seems to be doing well for it, so.
Well, this is the brilliant thing about Britain, and this is something like through history. We're an island nation. A lot of shit has to go through us. Like, you look at the English Channel, that's English territory. You got to go through us. So, screw you guys, I'm going home.
Frankly, I don't see why they went for it in the first freaking place, because the only thing that's happening is them getting sucked dry to pay for Eastern Europe's rebuilding.
Right. So, okay. Why we voted to leave? Is that what you? Is that what you meant? Why we voted? You don't understand why we voted to leave?
No, I know why they voted to leave, because they were getting drained, honestly, to rebuild the former Soviet bloc countries over there. and nobody else was doing it, and they foisted everything upon Britain. Come on now.
We were getting well. I won't really start naming countries
Are
and
you
stuff
talking
because that
about
was
like war
never.
reparations?
I've never heard
No.
anything about that.
I mean, I'm talking about stuff rebuilding of Yugoslavia,
Yugoslavia doesn't exist
Slovakia,
anymore.
whatever that country is. It used to be Yugoslavia. Czech Republic and Slovakia. I mean, I swear those countries have had more names within the past 30 years than they have in their entire history, just about.
Well, here's the thing with that. So, like, stuff like that stems back to the end of World War Two. Well, World War One, where we were like,
World War I,
we'll just
actually.
split Germany, gave bits away, created countries and all that shit. But in terms of, I don't know anything about the rebuilding of that. Like, I've never heard anything about that. To be honest with you, the issue we had was number one, like, for people who didn't do the research and just listened to the news. The main thing was the money, like the amount of money we were putting in to the EU as a terms for what we were getting out of it, just isn't worth the investment. In terms of, but the one thing I didn't like were the laws. Like we had, like because of the EU laws, we had to change our laws, and it's like, well, no. Like, who are you to tell us how to run the country? Like, no, that's not how it works. And that's something I didn't like. It's not a stereotyping thing, but I don't like Angela Merkel. So she's the Chancellor of Germany. I don't like her.
I know who she is.
She's
Yeah.
controlling. Belgium, they're a set of cunts. Excuse my French. And they're all very, no, you have to pay this. You have to. It's like, go fuck yourself. It's like, so David Cameron, so the Prime Minister before Theresa May, they were like, so when we voted, they were like, oh, by the way, you owe us this money. And David Cameron went, no, we don't. What are you going to do? What are you actually going to do? You're not getting any more out of us. Pretty much. He stood his ground. But, yeah, that's pretty much nothing in terms of at the minute. Nothing is happening. We're trying. It's just a pull and push thing, like, so. Yeah, pretty much it. Although ironically, when we voted, a lot of other countries then started to show interest. I'm like, oh, we can leave. So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next topic.
Next topic.
Speaking of
Wow.
Belgium,
The thing is, like,
Speaking
all these topics, none of them were planned. I love it. It's not.
yeah, I know, right? Speaking of Belgium now,
Just about to mention this. Go on.
Belgium is apparently going to sue Electronic Arts over FIFA loot crates.
Oh shit! No, I do remember that. That's a.
Yep. Back in April in this year, Belgium, the country, decided that loot boxes that return random rewards in exchange for money count as gambling and are therefore illegal in the country. So the Belgian Gaming Commission was quick to, decry loot crate mechanisms highlighted by the Battlefront 2 controversy, which happened, back in November of last year.
I mean, the thing is, I don't so I work in the gambling industry. Like, this is my forte. Like, here's the thing with a commission like that. Like, if, as opposed to suing them, so number one, they're not a gambling company, so they don't have a gambling license. I understand I suppose it is a form of gambling, because you can spend real money.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you can also spend in-game money, which you don't spend money on. So it kind of is gambling. It's also not gambling, because you're not really you're getting no returns out of it. You're paying money. You're paying
for the game in return.
You're not. It's not gambling. You're paying money for potentially getting an item. That's what you're paying. Like, you're getting no returns out of it. You're not making money off it.
I guess, but Belgium counts as gambling, apparently.
Yeah, well, Belgium.
The Netherlands actually followed shortly after. Game publishers like Blizzard and 2K had to pull the offending microtransactions from their games in the country, but EA seems determined to test this ban.
Well,
and that's why I think it's funny.
Yeah, I mean that's EA. We all know what EA like. We all play an EA game.
The firestorm of criticism over loot crates, and by the way, I'm reading this off of a post. Here, I can actually link the post in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to put that in the description as well. So the criticism over Battlefront 2 led EA to remove them from the game before launch because it was such a the fans weren't going to stand for it, the gamers and all that. However, FIFA is one of EA's, cash cows, should we say.
Right.
It makes them tons and tons and tons of money from live services. So, Belgium is now having a criminal investigation looking into, into EA for leaving loot boxes in the games within their countries.
Like, what I can see this happening, like, it's probably going to go to the Supreme Court, and like, they'll literally look into the definition of gambling.
Yeah. Well, EA CFO Andrew Wilson has also asserted, earlier this year that loot boxes aren't gambling because it doesn't offer players any way to sell or cash out their cards for real money.
Right. So, yeah. So
it sure does feel like gambling.
No.
With some players spending thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. So, this is the definition of gambling, right? To play games of chance for money, e.g. a bet. That's the definition of it. So, like, they're not getting money out of it, It's like saying, well, look at esports, right? They're playing a game, and if they win, so if they win that game, they get money back. That's not gambling. It's a fucking job. So I reckon what's happened, right? Like, it's conspiracy. I reckon there's a conspiracy going on. I think EA has probably upset them at some point, right? Because let's be honest, it's EA. Wouldn't be a shock to anyone.
Yeah.
And that Belgium are like, we are going to find a way to make these motherfuckers pay.
Belgium's going to lose this case, and I know it's exactly what EA wants as well, as the article states itself.
I would love it because it would make them look like absolute
EA wins
tits.
this case, it will be a justifiable use to put microtransactions in future games.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I don't want to happen.
Well, here's the thing. That's already started. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's has been hacked once that I know of recently, and that screwed everything up.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, like...
And now they're trying to regulate to where either you have to have a legitimate bank account that you can link to it, or some stupid regulations saying, hey, if you understand that you spend this money and you do not get this product, we are not being held responsible for it.
It's one of those things, isn't it, really? Because, like, with Bitcoin, it's not a physical thing. It's cryptocurrency. It's like, it's not a physical thing.
Yeah.
It's very hard to regulate something that you can't physically see or feel.
And hold,
yeah. Like, I mean, personally, the idea of cryptocurrency completely baffles me. I don't see the point in it. Like, it hurts my head to think about it. But yeah. I'm looking forward to see what happens. I was about to say, I look forward to see what happens with this EA thing, because if EA win this, fucking like, let alone what it's gonna mean for gaming. Look what it's gonna mean for like just companies in general. Holy shit, they beat a country? What? Like,
Yeah.
like it's worrying. Like, really, Belgium, if they lose the case, have completely like screwed over the world. In that sense.
EA has a tendency, like they say, oh, we learned from the Battlefront 2, controversy and whatnot, and is this best for the player? And yet we are still looking at games where it's not best for the player. I mean, yeah, sure. Recently, they have been leaving loot crates out of their new games, such as Anthem, Battlefield 5. But they still got those microtransactions in there for cosmetic stuff. Now that I don't mind. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, because it's not really.
Yeah, that's perfect. Cosmetic items and skins.
Well, I don't
That's
have an
fine.
issue with microtransactions. If people want to be stupid enough to spend stuff on that, then whatever. You go ahead and do it. What I don't agree with is when they make it so you have to use money. There should be an alternative where you can, spend in-game credits. Like, if you look at SWTOR, it's like, admit they've got the GTN. It's like, well, you can spend your real money and get your cartel coins, or you can buy it off other players. It's up to you,
Yeah. Like, I play Elite Dangerous.
Really inflated pricing.
Yeah,
oh,
but
yeah.
Extremely. Like, I play Elite Dangerous, right?
I'm sorry.
What they have is microtransactions for cosmetic stuff. Now, I will admit, me, myself, I've probably dropped at least $100.
I remember because I used to play FIFA.
Because I like playing it. I enjoy it. I mean, I play with others. I'm in a player faction. We work together. We play the game just to have fun.
I haven't played FIFA in like 5 years. Like, I haven't bought a FIFA game in like.
I've never played FIFA at all. I refuse.
Well, that's fair
I don't
enough.
like
Like, you
soccer.
guys, like, I know you're not. I know soccer's not. I know it's growing as a sport over in America, but it's not as big as it is
No.
over in Europe. And South
Over here, it's all about football, hockey, baseball,
but
NASCAR.
like, I dread to think how much I spent my first wage packets and stuff on Ultimate Team, and
I probably
packs and
dropped.
stuff.
God, I probably dropped at least $2,000 on SOTOR alone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my price is pretty high.
When I had a job, I was dropping $400 at a time.
Now, see, one thing I did want to talk about is because bringing up, oh, well, we learned from, Battlefront 2 mistake. And that's really funny because when they said that they learned, they got really more shady. Like, they came a lot more shadier.
Oh, yeah.
Because if anyone played, like, a few days after they updated that out, they made it almost
Even progression system?
No, their
Or right after
transactions
launch?
right after they got rid of the microtransactions.
Oh, yeah, that was before launch when they got rid of them.
No, well,
It was a really shitty system, too, yeah.
Well,
Because the whole system was designed around microtransactions.
Yeah, and what they did, though, is then, because this is how much more shadier they became, they made it a lot more difficult to get your in-game currency to buy crates.
Yeah.
Like, the first few days, they literally had people stop playing the game because at that point, if you didn't drop like a bunch of money to buy crates before microtransactions were patched out, tough luck. You're now gonna have to, pretty much spend a year just to get or a month just to get a few crates. And that's where I think EA is just like, okay, you want this? If it passes, if we do it, we're just gonna do something else and make it a lot more shady. And and they're gonna keep covering their tracks like they did with Battlefront 2.
Well, look at it this way. All these online games, because everything's strictly online now, and not to mention more people getting into it all in. You got people that will spend all their time awake on a specific game or multiple games. Granted, I would be one of them, but they are hardcore into these games. That hell, look at what Blizzard did. They cut out all that Bitcoin stuff. They got rid of being able to trade in-game coins. So just to try to get rid of it, try to prevent stuff like this from happening. But yet, everybody in here knows that that's still going on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could go to a website now where you could actually buy. Like, I know when I first started really getting into gaming back in 2010, 2011, you could go to websites and actually buy a personal account, buy somebody's account that they don't use anymore, that they have for sale. I know they did it for WoW.
And that's not the only thing, because like a lot of people have also done a lot of stuff for that with WoW as of late. All the new dungeons and stuff, raids, they've been like, oh well, we'll charge you.
Here's what I don't get with these new raid systems and this new system that WoW has, because honestly, this is what turned me away from it. They're going back in time, going all the way through the original Warcraft storyline, going through Tides of the Dark Portal in Warcraft 2, Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, Beyond the Dark Portal, and then Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos Frozen Throne with Wrath of the Lich King. They're just going back in time, which is fine for those who've never in their lives played Warcraft. But for people like myself who has played the original Warcraft, Orcs vs. Humans, all the way through Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne, why would I want to play something that I've already done the RTS with before? That doesn't make any sense.
I tried to get into World of Warcraft. I really have. I just cannot. I don't know why. Well, I have gone out of my way 4 different times downloading and installing the game to play it with people, and I just cannot get into it.
See,
you mean the World of Warcraft?
Warcraft.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing
Warcraft.
Okay. The thing is, though, is because they think because simple, what it was is, and I don't get it either, but even though, I don't know. Personally, I find it enjoyable. But I don't get it sometimes because, all this stuff that, yeah, I've played a bit of the RTSs, and it's like, oh, why are you redoing this? Because they think, well, we'll do it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable landscape. And I think, yeah, it's enjoyable, but also they're doing that as a big cash cow. Because
that, and you also got to remember the celebrity characters they put through in there, like Mr. T, the Mohawk Night Elf. Come on now.
And
Leroy Jenkins.
All right, chums, let's go. Leroy
Jenkins.
Yeah.
And not to mention making a freaking achievement for it. Come on.
Yes, they did.
Even
I got that achievement.
I got that achievement with the title.
Oh dear me.
But
I've never played WoW, so a lot of this is very alien to me. And
well, WoW was pretty good up until when Kung Fu Panda was set to come out. They came out with Mr. Pandaria. I mean, Cataclysm was all right and everything. Wrath of the Lich King was excellent. But when they started doing the pandas, that's when I left because honestly, all they were doing is hopping onto the next bandwagon of what popular movie that was coming out and basically playing that way, not giving us content to further the storyline of the world or anything, but giving us fluff that ooh, we get pandas now. Really?
There was
Panda?
one storyline I liked where you're like a human and then you get turned into like this wolf beast or something.
That
The
was
wolf.
the Worgen.
Yeah,
Worgen,
Wolf.
my-
I actually like that.
I love that one.
Stepping for smoke, gents.
I mean, I only got past the first city and then I lost interest in the game itself, but I actually liked the story.
Mm.
So, in terms of, like, I'm changing the topic.
Yeah, please
I'm
do.
mixing it up now. In terms of Disney, so we've done a year. So, linking thing, EA, SWOTO, Disney. What are our opinions of the Star Wars movies and the direction to which they're going in with that?
I tried
Disney
to like them.
has totally crapped on the Star Wars franchise. They have tried to blend everything in, and oh my god, they've ended up screwing everything up. They got where the director for the first hold on,
Okay, I know where you're going to go
episode
with this.
7. Well, Abrams, great job on his Star Trek. Doesn't know the first fucking thing about Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and I agree with that.
Oh,
I
and
mean, I have to disagree with you there. I like Abrams personally as a director. I think he's a great guy. However, I think the problem where it actually went wrong was with episode 8, where they brought in Ryan, and Ryan pretty much just said, fuck you to everyone, and said, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah, you see,
That is where I think Disney went wrong. Now, personally, I think they're getting better with the canon. I mean, they brought Thrawn back. That's a big plus. That's a huge thing.
who back?
Thrawn.
Oh,
Grand Admiral
Thrawn.
Thrawn? Yeah.
Thrawn.
Uh-huh. I like the
Yeah,
fact
but
that
is
they
it
threw
too
in
little,
this
too
wild
late?
element in one of the final Star Wars Rebels episodes. They threw in this crazy element where it kind of made the carefully constructed canon into something where anything was possible now.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that.
so
Don't
Well,
get
the
me wrong,
problem-
Disney is fucked up here and there, but I think they're doing a pretty good job at this.
Okay, I think that
I beg to differ on that
Yeah.
because number one, episode 7. Let's start with it there. Is come on another planet destroying? Oh, wait a second, hold on. This does more than a single planet. It destroys entire star systems.
It does.
Really, you don't think anybody would come close to that? Building something that big, that huge, with that many people, somebody
Without
would have
anybody
had to have gotten a
noticing.
clue. Yeah, somebody would have gotten a clue about that. You don't shift millions of workers, if not billions, to BFE and not feed them, not clothe them, not get the support and everything. Oh my God. And then you come up with this power system. All right, yeah, okay, I can understand that a little bit. It's based off of similar technology. They just tweaked it a little.
Yeah.
all
but-
right,
The 7 and 8 are nothing more than rehashings of 4 and 5.
I don't. To be
Well-
honest, I don't like 8. 8 was the worst one out of them all. And don't get me started about Solo. I mean, that
okay.
was atrocious.
all right. My biggest problem with the Star Wars movies was this. Okay, I like this whole idea. you know, when the trailer came out, Luke's gone. We don't know where Luke is. Disappeared. But they did a horrible job of telling us kind of like, you know, why Luke isn't doing, being a Jedi anymore. They hinted at it like once or twice. Now hold on. Now,
They
let me
did
tell you
a little bit in the newest one that came out.
Yeah, but the only problem, my biggest problem with that was it was like
Vague.
it was vague. It's like, really?
I also didn't like the like. I'm gonna agree with you here. I didn't like the fact that Luke went into hiding all because of his what was it? Not his grandson, but his
Nephew.
his nephew. Went, had a little bit of dark side in him. When in episode 6, he turned Vader from this fucking asshole back into Anakin Skywalker, who admittedly is a whiny little bitch, but
Who always had the
I
low
like the
ground.
character itself.
Yeah, and always.
I think Christian Haydenson played him perfectly.
Yeah.
I
But,
beg to differ on that.
My biggest
Anyway.
my biggest gripe though was not only that, it was okay. This first order rises up. That
Yeah.
was to me. I thought the first order they didn't do a good job of explaining how they came to power. Okay, Supreme Leader Snoke. Okay, so what
They
you're
left
telling
that
me,
to a game to explain. Yeah.
you're telling me
I'm not
that-
buying a
hold on,
game just to find that out.
hold on.
I
first.
know.
Okay, so what you're trying to tell me is that, he's a powerful Sith Lord and Luke wasn't able to detect him. I'm sorry. What?
See, this is what annoys me, because, like, George Lucas literally said Luke Skywalker is the most powerful Force user to ever blah, 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 blah. And, like, the way they painted Luke, like, I know Mark Hamill was not happy, like, with, like, the script
With
or anything. Like,
episode
he
9,
said, he
episode
was
8,
like,
yeah.
he was like, Luke couldn't do this. Luke couldn't do that. It wouldn't do that. Like, what the like, he
Yeah,
just,
it's like, my biggest gripe is, why are you saying, well, okay, first of all, you can't sell me that there is no way Luke wasn't going to be able to sense. Okay, if he wasn't able to sense Snoke directly, he would have sensed a disturbance in the Force. Sorry if I sound
That's where Palpatine comes in. Palpatine actually sensed something in the far reaches of the unknown regions, and that's why he had that. That's why he had the outbound flight
And yet,
and whatnot.
what really made me mad was then they retconned that. They were like, no, that's not how that flies. And it's like, really? And on top of that, you're telling me that this First Order managed to build not only a starbase, but build a
Planet
sizable army and wasn't stopped? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You must be smoking something.
Well, you
think-
gotta remember, Disney took over and fucked things up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We know this. Everybody that's a big fan of SWTOR or a big fan of Star Wars in general knows that Disney fucked up.
Well,
Oh.
what Disney needs to do to correct itself, they
But they're-
need to go back to the old Republic. They could make how much money off of this?
Well, no, here's the problem. No.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Just
Here's the
from
thing.
Revan
There's
himself?
rumors. There's rumors that they're doing that.
Yeah.
And let's see how many things they will mess up.
And
because,
another
okay.
thing. Sorry,
When I-
I keep
It's
cutting
okay.
you off.
It's all right.
I apologize.
So my biggest thing was talking on the Old Republic. I had went to go see the latest episode a few days after it came out. And I watched it, and then probably like a few hours after I got done watching it, I got a notification on my phone, and it was a YouTube video about how Disney had made Revan canon. And I am sitting here trying to figure out on what universe did Disney? Disney didn't even reference Revan one time in the movie, and they're gonna say he's canon. Now, one gripe though that's not also got me mad about the episodes they have. Let me talk about the Solo movie just real quick, and that
Okay.
one thing I've liked that I've seen them bring that I'm honestly gonna say I hate. They're bringing Maul back. Well, okay, here's the thing. You're going to try to convince me that Maul is okay.
Alive after everything his body has gone through. Oh,
Well,
like getting
well,
cut
let's
in
see,
half.
what
and-
happened? He got. Hold on. He's fought Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, got his lower torso ripped off. He then fought Palpatine and almost got murdered.
He
Then-
fought Obi-Wan with
Again.
Anakin again.
No, not Obi-Wan and Anakin. It was
No, it was
Obi-Wan and some other kid off of the Disney spin-off
Richard.
Star Wars Rebels.
Well, Ezra too, yeah. But there was one before that with Master. What's her name? He killed her. She
Oh,
was like,
fucking!
do you know
oh.
in Clone Wars? In Clone
Clone
Wars,
Wars,
you
yeah,
know
when
exactly what I'm talking
They
about.
were
Nathan.
fighting fucking Savage and Maul.
Savage.
Shit, what
Yeah.
was her name? It wasn't
Veteran?
Luminara. Fuck knows. She was
Master.
green.
It started with a G.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I know who you're talking
And
about.
then he
Look-
fought Obi-Wan again in season 5.
Yeah, and then he died. Supposedly died on
In Rebels,
Tatooine.
yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean there. I'm trying to think. Unless the
Force
Solo movie
hibernation.
comes out, like in the canon timeline, before Rebels, that's the only way I can understand it.
Yeah, that is.
It has to.
Okay, Mr. Nathan, question for you, sir.
Go on, sir.
Would you mind if I bring somebody into this voice chat
No,
just to
oh,
pop in
who
for
is
a
it?
little bit? The lovely Envy, of course.
Oh, okay.
It's Envy.
Also,
Bring
Is,
it
is,
in.
is she aware that we are doing a podcast?
Not yet.
She will when she gets in here.
Yeah, she would. Don't tell her. Don't tell her.
Oh, no.
Just
Right.
invite her in.
Because
But-
if we tell her, she ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, she's
Well,
so don't mention anything.
Well, here's another thing with the Solo film. Honestly, if I wanted to see Mal, Wash, Book, and all them do a heist, that would have been better with the right characters.
Oh yeah.
Solo is not a Star Wars thing. That is actually Firefly done with Solo with the Star Wars characters.
yeah.
Personally, I want to see them bring back Star Killer.
Okay.
I would
here's the
love
thing.
to have a Star Killer spinoff.
Well, here's the problem.
No.
And yeah, and my biggest thing is no. That ship, when that would have been a great idea, and that ship has sailed. Because
much.
here's the thing. Alright? I do not want them ruining another Star Wars character. We cannot keep ruining Star Wars characters because there is not that many we got left.
True. And there's been rumors going around that Mara Jade is supposed to come back.
Because let's
Oh,
see.
they've already put her out of the canon stuff. Now they're gonna
yeah,
bring
they
her
did,
back.
They did, and people got pissed about it.
I'm pissed about it because honestly,
But they're
that
trying to bring
made
her back.
better
What
sense.
rumors are saying.
Oh, their focus groups apparently didn't like it either. You can't judge a goddamn fucking movie by fucking focus groups.
Yeah.
And another
And
Mama Envy.
hello, Envy.
Hi, Andy. Another thing that makes me mad is, okay, and this is something I brought up a little bit earlier,
Mama Envy.
is the whole, how did this, okay, they let this First Order grow to power. So what
Yeah.
you're telling me is right after they won, okay, guys,
Yeah, the New Republic didn't do anything?
New Republic, so this is what happened. All the rebels and, all the soldiers we did have, yeah, retire him. We don't need
No,
him
the
anymore.
King's Men
What could possibly
couldn't put Humpty
What
back together
could
again.
all of a sudden, new movie comes out. Order. What? Did everyone just be like, oh, hey, look, it's almost like, well, they're taking over. Should we stop them? Yeah. Yeah, remember what the Empire? They were great. They didn't almost try, murdering a lot of people. It's like, I'm sorry. So what you're telling me is a psychopath. No, not a psychopath. A kid with an anger purity complex, just, do whatever he wants. And, mysterious Supreme Leader Snoke totally doesn't sound like the Empire. These guys are probably gonna be like, we're here to join the Republic. I'm sorry. You guys gotta be smoking some death sticks.
I expected so much more out of Snoke. I really did. And then they killed him off before he had
We
the
all did.
Also,
Yeah.
okay, here's the
I
thing.
mean, JJ built Snoke up so well, and then Ryan came along and bulldozed everything.
Oh, okay, so the
like
Supreme
literally
Leader Snoke-
left him dead, tongue hanging out.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Alright, here we go. We're,
I mean, if he was
We're
also
gonna have this
powerful, he would have knew.
this also powerful Supreme Leader Snoke, we're gonna have him get killed real quick.
By an
It's like-
emo with a issue with a grandfather complex.
Yeah, I know, and a
God
daddy
damn.
issues, which
We're
he
start
had
calling it the Anakin complex.
The
No,
emo kid?
No, the Anakin complex is going to Tatooine and slaughtering a bunch of Tusken Raiders. That's the Anakin complex. And my thing is, it's like, okay, so what you're telling me is because there's still no good explanation on this earth why you're telling me Snoke got killed, and you guys didn't even give him, you didn't even have him shoot lightning. All you did was have him do
You
was
don't even know
drag.
his real identity, and
Yeah,
that's what
oh.
sucks.
We don't even know what he can do besides he moved Rey from the elevator in front of his chair, talked to her a bit, and that was about it. Are you telling
Also,
me?
the force bonding,
It's
the
me.
force connection between the two
besides-
minds.
Besides that, are you telling me that this so-called all-powerful, hyped-up Snoke was literally just some dumbass that didn't even know, oh, hey, by the way, I'm smart enough to know the Sith are going to betray each other, so I have a feeling you're going to kill me since you brought the only other Force user here, because we're still looking for, Luke, I'm just going to kill you both. No. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let my guard down, because that's a great freaking idea.
Look,
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
gonna notice a
Well,
lightsaber
wait a minute.
turning.
Because he also did say that he was going to finish his training in the dark side. And when you're talking dark side, what usually happens to complete their training?
You kill the
The
master.
apprentice kills the master.
Exactly. And Snoke's
Gotta go
apprentice
kill
was
Odie now.
Anakin.
look,
Was Anakin's grandson. So
look. I'd been on the lash the night out before. I was hanging out my ass. Them two came out of the elevator. I was like, something. I can't be arsed. I'm too old for this shit. It's pretty much what happened. Oh, by the way, I'm Snoke.
I don't want to hear it.
I was
Also-
Also, okay, is it me, or I want to ask anyone else this. Does anyone realize that they pretty much just took Plagueis and was like, hey, we're changing your name to Snoke?
That's what it feels like, honestly.
It's like, okay, there was so
But that
much,
wouldn't work because Plagueis was killed by
Yeah.
Sidious
and you're
while he
telling
was
me,
drunk.
yeah, and you're telling me that you're just, okay, the thing is I've seen what Snoke's character design, I mean, not Snoke, Plagueis' character design looked like.
Yeah.
It looks
In the movie.
very close to Snoke's. And what's got me very irked off about this is, yes, okay, you're going to want this whole, it looks like he's going to turn to the light side of the Force, but he doesn't. Yes, but don't just make him kill Snoke and not even have a fight with the guy. Heck.
I wanted Rey to go dark side. I really did.
Okay, here's the
That would
problem.
have been a nice twist.
That would have been a nice twist, but the thing is that would have been cool because now the rebels literally have to try to find. They have no one, and on top of that, Luke already at this point, this point in the movie, Luke already messed up. He burnt the rest of those Jedi,
Please tell me you're joking, because they did not get burned.
Listen, okay.
If you watch the very end of the movie, you actually see Rey. That's why he's like, he says something about, Yoda says, the girl has, how's that quote go?
Magic beans?
Something she does not already possess, but she ended up taking the text from the book the day that she was in that tree.
It was
so
the
those
magic
books
beans.
did not get burned.
It was the magic beans. She had to go sell a cow. She got to go sell a cow to like.
She has the Journal of the Wills. That's what it is.
By the way, of all the films that they made, there's only one that's actually worth anything, and that was Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One was amazing.
Rogue One was
loved Rogue One.
Literally.
Rogue One went really
made Vader
nuts.
look like a badass.
Yes, okay, I will say that. Especially at that end. When you see that iconic scene, it's like, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah, just Vader sulking there in the dark, and then all of a sudden you see a red line come out and light everything up, and the fear that is shown on the face of the rebels was
priceless.
Perfect.
Now, what Envy did bring up a good point, though, is Yoda said something. She already possesses something, along those lines. Okay, I know they are going to probably tell us, but please, just tell me who is. Just give us some hints to who Rey's parents is, because I'm sorry.
I'm not buying they were nobody.
Yeah, it's me.
Here's a couple of the rumors. Obi-Wan. Some descendant from Qui-Gon's line. Some offshoot from Luke's line.
Well, that's the thing.
I don't think it can be an offshot from. I mean, unless you go to Legends, where he had these relationships with like Callista and the others.
The most legendary Force user of them all, Yakun. It's actually his daughter.
Now, here's my biggest thing: is now you're also going to tell me Force sensitive parents are nobodies. I'm using quotation marks. And you're going to tell me neither Luke nor Snow picked up on that right away. They feel someone Force sensitive. I'm sorry. Did Luke apparently forget how to use the Force?
He cut himself off from the Force.
Whoa, wait a minute.
He sensed him.
He cut himself off from the Force.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did.
There's that whole...
Snoke did.
Rey, when Rey found Luke, he flat out told her, "Look, I cut myself off from the Force. I've forbidden myself to use the Force." So, that being said, how the fuck you're saying that he's able to censor? Cool, but if he's cut himself off from the Force, how the fuck is he gonna do that?
As a kid, how was he not able to censor as a kid before he cut himself off from the Force? Because I have to imagine.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me stop you right there, Jake. How old's Rey?
At least mid-20s.
We can safely say about that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
How old's Luke at this point in time?
Around 60, 70.
So,
50, 60.
Okay. So, between the ballpark of 50, 60, to maybe 70. Who knows? But
unless he uses great product because he has a lot of hair.
Yeah.
and on top of that, how long has it been since Luke's Jedi temple got destroyed? Everything that he built up for the Jedi got destroyed when he went in and had to deal with Kylo or deal with his nephew,
that
whatever.
looked
Okay, now my question is how old's
10
Kylo?
years.
How old's Kylo Ren?
Oh, Kylo's got to be at least like 28, 29.
Okay,
Yeah.
so almost in the ballpark of Rey.
Mm-hmm.
Because he looked about, when they did that flashback, when he's like, Luke's leaning over him, and you see Kylo, he looks about like 18, 19, and then looking at Luke compared to how he is now, it looks about between 10 years from the fall of the temple to the where the present time ended up at.
In that time span, Rey would have been born. So you're telling me there is no way Luke would have not been able to sense that before
because he cut himself off from the Force.
She was already born. She would have been about like 9.
8 or 9.
But here's the thing, though.
But she was like 7 or around that area when she was abandoned on Jakku.
Yeah, but I'm talking before the fall of Luke's temple. I'm talking before he cut himself off from the Force. He would have had time. He would have been able to sense Rey.
Yeah, but you say that, but then you
not necessarily.
But you're also looking at. You're also got to look at it this way, though. Okay, you're saying that he would be able to censor, but at the same time, was he actively trying to reach out with the Force to sense all these Force users out there? I don't think so.
Qui-Gon, he couldn't sense Anakin. He only found out after he tested the midichlorians in his system. He didn't openly be like,
that right there is also another bullshit thing.
They tried to make it scientific, so it's not
midichlorians, yeah. Because
how is it bullshit when it's canon with Plagueis?
Be back later.
Plagueis later, Envy.
Thank you for guesting on the Questionable podcast.
Come back to me.
Just as she left, she's like, "Oh shit, I'm on the internet."
Plagueis, even with Sidious telling Anakin, "Hey, there's this Dark Lord of the Sith, Plagueis, who was able to manipulate the midichlorians." And he even asked Anakin, "Hey, do you know what they are?" "Well, this is what they are." And told
It's a
him,
living thing.
It's exactly.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
There's another character I would personally like to see back. I know they have Sloane, but I want to see Dala. Admiral Dala. I love Dala. She was she is my favorite character of Star Wars.
Well, the thing is, that will never happen because they've changed up the children of both the Solos and the Skywalkers.
Yep.
Because Ben doesn't exist. Neither does the other one, although they may have changed his name to Kylo Ren. Which was...
no, they did.
That's a whole different
No, Ben does
mess.
exist.
Ben is Kylo.
Ben is Kylo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ben was not... But Ben was a Skywalker, not a Solo.
Oh, it's all going tits up, the whole Star Wars thing. Like, what annoys me the most is, like, they brought out, like, all these Star Wars stories and stuff. And then they're like, oh, we're going to do an Obi-Wan. And everyone's like, yes! Get in there, Ewan McGregor! And then they're like, we're going to put it on hold because of what happened with Solo. It's like, we told you not to do Solo. You did a poll. We said we weren't interested. So what did you go fucking do? You went and made a fucking Solo film!
Yeah, and then
Obi-Wan would have been a better choice to go with, and then they put Boba Fett on hold as well.
Yeah, okay. So you're telling... Yeah, that made me mad because I was down...
I want to see a Jango Fett movie, too.
Well, okay, because here's the thing. I had just actually got done reading a book the other day, which was... It was a book that was based on Jango Fett. I forget what 2 movies, though. It was between... And pretty much in that book, he had a straight-up fight scene with Bossk. And that would have been cool.
That would have been epic.
In a movie. But nope, we ain't seeing that.
Well, there's a strong potential, like with Boba and Jango, Because obviously Obi-Wan,
Ahsoka is another big one.
Obi-Wan,
Ventress.
Obi-Wan you associate with Ewan McGregor, who's is an A-star actor. So that's gonna
Yeah,
have to be
he's
made into
amazing.
a film. That's gonna have to be a film. But with Django and Boba, there's a strong and even Ahsoka, there's no actor tied to them, so they could do it TV series.
No.
You
They
know?
tried to do that with Maul, though. They tried to make a TV series out of that, and that didn't work out. It got denied by Netflix, even though it was supposed to come out on Netflix.
Yeah, see,
Netflix
here's the
canceled
thing. I wasn't a whole fan because, okay, when Boba got introduced in the Clone Wars, then they tried pushing this whole thing of, Boba wants to kill Mace Windu, Boba wants revenge, all this. They were pushing hard for it, and I liked it, but then it started just getting old. Like, seriously, it was like, okay, yeah, you get to see bounty hunters. It's different. You don't get to see a lot of the war side. You get to see, what some other key characters are doing. But it was just getting old.
The one movie that I would definitely like to see happen with the Star Wars series is not only the Old Republic,
Yes.
but more focused on the Mandalorian Wars, the whole story of Mandalore, everything
yes,
about.
For those who didn't play KOTOR 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
But see, my biggest fear is, though, because both of them, I know, at least the Mandalorian Wars, Revan was there. My biggest fear as a Revan fan that they're going to mess up Revan. That they're going to just fuck it up bad.
They already have messed up Revan.
Yeah,
At
and I
least
don't.
EA has in SOTOR.
Yeah, and I don't want that to, happen anymore.
And it's funny because the first original script for Shadow of Revan was, from what I heard, pretty damn good. And then EA was like, no, do it again.
Yeah, it's just
from the original writer. And so he had to come up with this bullshit thing.
Well, no, I just seen a video yesterday on that, in fact. It was actually a different writer who came up with it. It was a different writer. It was a different writer that came up with Revan's story for SOTOR than it was for KOTOR.
Well, no, I'm talking about the books. Like,
right.
The book
well,
itself.
the book itself was written, by the same author. But I'm talking like the storylines for like KOTOR versus SOTOR.
Oh yeah, I know.
And how off it was, and it just doesn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a nice little change, in my opinion. I thought it was nice in SOTOR with the Shadow of Revan storyline because you got a little bit more in history of Revan outside of KOTOR.
I mean, I didn't know of Revan until I played SOTOR. Because I never played KOTOR until actually this year, KOTOR 1 and 2.
I played
because I just couldn't find the games. I couldn't find the games, or it was my friend's game. So I only played an hour of like KOTOR 2, not knowing what the hell.
I played KOTOR when I got my first laptop, and that was about till I was 12, 13.
Yeah, SOTOR introduced me to Revan. I went to Barnes & Nobles. I saw a book on him, and I was like, oh shit, gotta grab this. Grabbed it. Well, eventually the car got repoed. My book was in there, and I didn't bother getting it. I missed that book.
Well, okay.
Nathan, if you can give me the audio to this, I'm going to, go get some Battlefield 4 gameplay, maybe put it over this. So as I'm talking, they have something to watch.
Yeah. What
Possibly,
else?
I'll let you know. Because
Oh.
this is specifically a podcast, so like
Yeah,
it's meant to be like
I know.
this.
So one thing I actually, I rarely go through, and I rarely replay a lot of games anymore. If depending on if I thought the game was fun to play when new content comes out, because a lot of it is rather they make joke content and
Oh, yeah.
especially when it comes from Ubisoft. And this is the one thing I gotta say. My goodness, Ubisoft has done something that was actually quite cool and honorable. Um, but I liked it, and I have to say, okay, because they did the whole Alien, the Predator thing. As fun as that was, that didn't make a lick of sense.
What?
But
Wait, the game itself, or are you
no,
talking about Ghost Recon Wildlands,
okay,
where
I
they
should have
brought in
said
the Predator?
okay, okay. In Ghost Recon Wildlands, they brought in the
The
Predator
Predator.
from
Yeah,
Aliens
it
vs
was
Predator.
just an Easter egg. That's all it was.
Yeah, well, there was a strip about boss fight to him,
Yeah,
which okay, let me tell you, that was just a waste of time. I
I
thought
think.
personally.
Yeah, I mean, the initial fight against him was hard enough. God damn.
So the one thing though that's got me kind of hyped because I feel like they kind of hinted at it with this is in all their games they've released after Blacklist, they'd hinted at some way of a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell game. They've hinted at having the goggles in Division, mentioning his name a few times throughout some other games. But where I really think we could be seeing a classic is possibly seeing another Splinter Cell game. And it was really cool because the mission they had for him was a whole sneaking mission. It was something you would do in Splinter Cell. And it's really cool because I thought they weren't going to have the same voice actor that it did Sam Fisher. They still have the same voice actor that has done Sam Fisher since the first game.
Oh yeah, like Halo with Master Chief. Same exact voice actor.
Now one of my biggest things is this actually kind of made a good nod, and why I want to bring up because we could possibly see another Splinter Cell game from Ubisoft, and maybe they have it. Hopefully, they'll have it in the right idea. One thing though, I have to say was honorable about this was after finishing it, because growing up, I had played a lot of Splinter Cell and a lot of Metal Gear. The fact that they actually did a reference to Metal Gear was great. The whole fact, in case for those of you that are interested that haven't done it, he talks to the woman that usually advises the Ghost team throughout the whole game, and Sam goes, "It's only me. There was one other guy with a bandana, but he retired." So that was a really cool hint towards Metal Gear Solid. But what I'm want to kind of drive home is we might be seeing where like hoping also Star Wars. We might be seeing another Splinter Cell game.
I can see
And
it. Yeah.
And that made me think because I actually am looking at a Splinter Cell Aftermath book that's sitting right in front of me. I was like, oh, I should bring this up.
Interesting theory.
I mean, it'd be nice to see.
Indeed.
I can't remember the last one.
I mean, I see another.
I never really played a lot of the Splinter Cell games, but they looked fun.
Personally, I want another Aliens versus Predator game to come out. I thought that whole concept was pretty cool. Marines versus Predators versus Aliens, all in the same match.
Okay, that was interesting, but also at the same time, It was,
It was
very
executed
boring.
poorly.
You
yeah.
knew
Yeah,
you were
it was-
if you were humans, you were fucked.
Yeah, 'cause,
Game
like,
over.
okay, yeah, it's like, all right, round loads in. You're stuck on the human team. There's no point of playing. You might as well go. You might as well go use the bathroom, get something to eat, go watch a movie. Because I'll tell you, because what's gonna happen is you're rather going to not see anything, and your little little radar's gonna be like, oh, hey, there's something right behind you. By the time you turn around, you're rather getting your head exploded,
Yeah.
or something is jamming its tail right in your throat.
Yeah. Ugh.
I still like the concept of it.
See, I'm glad this is a questionable podcast because
Podcast,
we never
yeah.
know what we're talking about. We're
Mhm.
just
Exactly.
jumping on random things.
Questionable
Hell,
question.
we don't even know what we're talking about half the time.
So what's everyone's
Battlefield 5.
opinions? What's everyone's opinion
On what?
on Diablo going to the Switch?
I don't play Diablo.
Eh.
No, I don't want it going to the Switch personally. Although
It's
I don't
already
play
on the
Diablo, Nintendo needs to, stay in their
it's-
little area.
It's already on the Switch there, brother.
God damn.
I was gonna say I know me and David play it. What's your guys' opinion on it being on the Switch?
It's I don't know. It's one of those
I mean,
things, isn't it? Like, because there's always like those things of PC games being put on consoles and shit like that. Like,
It's
I
kind of
played-
like Final Fantasy going back and forth.
yeah, like I played
Right.
like, for example, I played War Thunder, right, which on the PC is fucking amazing. Now I tried playing that on the PlayStation. I no, I played like maybe 20 minutes of it, and I was like, nope. Mainly because
That's the
crash
problem.
it.
I was
You were
the
playing-
opposite. When
you
I
were
was
playing
playing
a
it on
PlayStation.
PlayStation, I preferred it on PlayStation over PC because I prefer to have a controller in my hand. I can't stand using keyboard
As
and
opposed
mouse
to
all
on
the
your
time.
feet.
Huh?
Nathan, that was a good
He
one.
can't
Heretic.
multitask.
He can't multitask. That's a good one. Also, Nathan, though, I do have to say, your biggest problem was you were playing a PS4. That was the biggest problem.
Oh,
Fuck off.
motherfucker!
I grew up with
Fuck
an
off.
Xbox, so I'm a console guy.
Oh, shit, mofo! Right,
So we're not opening that bag of worms because we
Too
don't
late.
need-
The bag has been
problem
opened.
is that they did go
We are
with
not
PS4.
doing-
They should have
we
gone
are-
with an Xbox for it.
right.
We
so-
are not going into a console war right now. So
Yeah, we can.
I'm
because-
saying my piece.
listen,
I'm
we've
saying my
already-
piece.
We already
Right.
opened up this can.
Hold on. Nathan, go ahead and say your piece.
So, I'm a console player, right? My first games console was a Nintendo 64, and then
Same.
I got the original, like the Game Boy, like the black and white. Well, it's just there was no color to it, just a Game Boy, and then GameCube, and then it was PS1, then GameCube, then PS2, and then I got a 360. And then I remember when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, I was like, right,
Yeah.
what do I do here? Because like they both look good, and one of my friends got a PlayStation 4, and I was like, right, well, I'm not being a loner, I'm gonna buy a PS4. And we got Spider-Man 4, so
Now,
got
the
Spider-Man.
way how it went with me when I grew up, the very first video game I played was on a Game Boy Color.
mhm.
damn, you guys are making me feel old.
My very
Yeah.
first. My very
And,
I don't want to hear it.
PlayStation, my first console actually, myself, was a original Xbox. And that's what I grew up with
Yeah.
Xbox, GameCube, and then we got a Wii, and then I got an Xbox 360.
See, I genuinely never
my
thought like
Mine-
I'd
for
step
me-
and I
away
stuck
from
with
Microsoft.
Xbox all the way up.
My descent to madness.
My
And-
Well, I got my
first
Xbox One.
console.
I still have my 360 right here in front of me.
Well, let me guess.
My
The Atari
first
64.
console. No.
Huh? Oh, the
Sega
N64
Genesis.
was amazing. I used to play Pokemon
Genesis.
Coliseum on that all the
Oh!
time.
See, okay. Very first console for me, the Nintendo 64. Very first game was a game that I think helped me go into my descent to madness. And hopefully, I am not going to feel old when I say this. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I feel like the minute I said Conker's Bad Fur Day, it just was like a bullet and went over everyone's head.
Yeah.
No, nobody
I have no idea
cared.
what game.
Once that
No.
We're all
Mario
thinking
theme
Mario,
started
buddy.
going,
Yeah, that's funny. I say Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's just what? Who's talking?
I knew what
you
you were
guys-
saying. That's why I was making the tune.
You guys don't know. You guys are spoiled.
Was your first game console Pong, by any chance?
No, my first console was Pong. The
Oh,
first
God.
console was Pong.
I literally just said that. I bet it were Pong. I
You
bet it
got
were
a
fucking
damn
Pong.
accent, damn it.
Okay, so
yeah,
so you
you're right.
are
It's not a-
definitely trying to open up a bigger can of worms because we've already
Yeah,
made
I
a
know,
bunch of
right?
groups
We're
mad.
already in a console war. Now we're
Bring back Atari, damn it.
You know what? I'm surprised we haven't pissed off the feminists yet.
actually,
I know,
Probably
right?
just did that. Probably did.
Randy,
Just right there.
they are actually bringing back Atari games. They're also bringing back Atari systems.
They
They're also bringing back they're bringing back Sega Genesis. They're bringing back the classic
Dreamcast, guys.
PlayStation, Dreamcast. Man, I went into one of those out of the hole in the wall type video game stores, and they actually not only still had the original console, but they were selling like this console styles gaming rigs where it already had like 190 to 200 plus Atari
games on there. Yeah,
games. Yeah.
we have we have a store down here in our outside shopping mall called Monster Games, and I've never seen a store like this except in movies. And I walked in there. The first thing I see is Dungeons and Dragons, Yu-Gi-Oh, that kind of stuff. Dreamcast, Nintendo 64s. There's just litters of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games over there. I mean, this was like the nerd hangout, like what you would see in movies, like a kind of like a comic book store, but it wasn't a comic book store. It was like one of those video game and card stores. And I walked in there, and I'm looking back on my life. I'm thinking, God damn it, I'm 21, but I feel so fucking old.
2015, there used to be a pawn shop near me, and this stuff, they had a lot of stuff, but they had like a lot of old PS2 games, a lot of old original Xbox games, and I tell you, it was kind of funny, but it also made me feel old because at the time I was only 16.
Nostalgic? Yeah.
I was 16, and I'm like, oh, I remember playing this like.
Yeah, I got so excited when I went into that store. I was like a little kid again. I was like, oh my god, I remember this.
So
Star Wars, the Clone Wars, I played this on Xbox all the time.
I need to
Oh, I love that game.
just gonna.
Anyway, let's talk about Mass Effect.
Oh
Let's
my
not
god!
say we
just...
did.
Mass Effect 1.
Let's not say we did.
So
please.
just so everybody, like, so the people who are watching, know,
Or is anybody watching? That's the question.
I don't know. Or people who, so like, we were talking about Pong. I heard Pong. Like, you guys continue to talk, and oh, I just typed on Google Pong. I'm now playing Pong. I'm just playing fucking Pong. Oh, God and Bennett. Like,
Now, actually, speaking of nostalgic games, I heard, word on the grapevine, though, that they're bringing back a famous World War II game series. Some of you may have heard of it. It's not Medal of Honor, but they're bringing back Brothers in Arms.
holy shit.
Oh, yes, I used to play that on the DS.
Hell's
they're- okay.
highway.
Well,
Oh.
okay. What apparently the plan is they're going to first remaster Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, and then it's going to go from there. It's gonna start with apparently the remaster of Road to Hill 30, and it's just they're gonna remaster a lot of games, and then it's gonna kind of go from there. I'm excited.
Honestly, go on. Sorry, I'm thinking to myself.
I was just saying I'm excited because I remember growing up playing Road to Hill 30, so it would be awesome if they did it, but I don't know.
Update.
I
I'm losing
mean-
9-8. Oh, it's gone 9-all. Shit, 10-9. Carry on.
What? Oh, he's playing Pong. He's playing Pong right now.
So everyone listening, by the way, everyone, apparently now according to Nathan, by playing Pong, we're apparently sponsored by Pong now.
I
So,
don't think.
uh,
Oh shit! I'm losing 12-10.
We're sponsored by Pong.
Unofficially, we're sponsored by Pong.
How the fuck?
Officially, we are sponsored by Battlefield 4 and EA and DICE. Even though we're talking so much shit about them.
I know, right? Well, hey, here's the thing. I said pretty much at the start of the podcast, all our sponsors, they're out the window. They're
No!
gone.
How the? How do you
But
keep?
we've got the high ground.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we have the high ground or Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
That was
let's-
a joke that I
no,
guess.
No, never again.
Yeah, I guess I was the only one going with that joke.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that went
You
over
have
like
scarred-
Led Zeppelin.
You have scarred my ears.
That one was a good one, Randy. I'll give you that.
You guys should like check out, the link to the podcast and watch me play Pong. This is terrible.
You know
This
what?
is-
Heck, wait. Why don't you just link us the thing, website to play Pong?
It's not rocket
I'm down
science.
to play
Google Pong. Just Google Pong.
Well, apparently to you it was.
Man, that's very riveting.
This is by far the most bot. Ah!
You know, guys, we should play Cards Against Humanity as we do this.
So I
Oh,
was
you
just
don't
saying
want
this-
that.
Oh
I do
yeah.
want
No,
that.
no, you don't. because
We
I-
got all the
Next week.
expansions over here.
Next week.
You don't want that because here's the thing: is I guarantee you, before the podcast even goes up, we aren't going to get anything.
It's already up.
It's been
Well, I
live
mean,
streamed.
Yeah, I mean, but if we do that now, it's already down the hill. Pong. Okay, we're playing Pong now. I'm playing Pong.
Well, I've stopped playing Pong.
You want to play online
Let's just play
multiplayer?
Cards Against
Wait,
Humanity.
wait,
we might
wait,
as
hold
well
on.
at this point.
Hold on. Who wants to play Pong 2 online multiplayer game of Pong?
Jesus Christ. This is a podcast. What the fuck is going on? When I'm meant to be.
You're the one who's running this.
You're the one that brought me into it.
Okay, so we were brought in here by Nathan,
Mhm.
and now look where everything is went wrong.
Look, I am by far the most organized person. I made it very crystal clear. Just right when this is all when it's live streamed and then uploaded. Oh, is that gonna do that? Fucking better.
Are we having problems again?
Fuck, I really
No.
want to play Cards Against Humanity.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
a look at the settings because I need to make sure it's gonna save because otherwise I'm just not. Gonna
That's what they need. They need an online version of Cards Against Humanity.
They do. They
They
do.
ha- They have an online
They
version
have
of
it.
Cards Against Humanity. Where have you been living under a rock for 20 years?
Oh, shut up. How'd you know?
I'm trying to find
Where'd you
it
get
right
my
now. I know it's
address,
on
damn it?
Ecstasy.
No comment.
Randy, it's easy. Just look for the
It's
one
safe.
person that lives in the rock that looks like a caveman from 1940. I mean, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop
I'm
talking.
trying to find it and I can't find it.
Yeah, I can't find Pong either. Okay, I
No,
googled
I'm not
Pong.
talking about Pong. I'm talking about
Oh, it did upload.
Cards Against Humanity.
I'm trying to play a game of Pong because I want to play Pong now.
Delete.
Google Pong. There we go. Oh, I have to be on.
Hold on.
Okay.
Right. So, next topic because we're scrolling very so we've been going nearly 2 hours. So I'm gonna try and wrap it up with an easy topic, something we can just chill
Oh, I got it.
chill about. So, if you could go back in time, any time period, and speak to anybody, who would you talk to?
Leonardo da Vinci.
George Lucas.
Whoa, that's... Right. Okay. Jake. Leonardo da
Vinci.
Go. Why?
Okay. Because he was a genius, and I want to know where he came up with some of his ideas. And also, just be like, hey, in the future, we have all this. So if you write this down now, and you can just find some way to slowly start this, you get a lot of credit for that. Probably won't work because I don't speak Italian, so he's probably just going to scratch his head and look at me funny. But it's alright. They're an interesting group of people anyway, the Italians. That's another story, though.
Wow.
I feel like...
I mean, I see the logical sense of it, but like, you know, I mean, I go back, see, Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, and then I realise I can't speak Italian. There'd be no point. Well, the Italian's pretty cool. What? Yeah, do you want a shovel? Like, just keep digging your hole. Like, okay, Randy. If you could, like, what is it? You said George Lucas?
Well, that was as a farce and to tell him not to sell his stake to Disney, but Nikola Tesla, actually.
Oh. And why is that?
Because I'd want his notes before whoever got it from him to see how far advanced and if his shit actually worked.
Huh.
He was a legend before his time, in all honesty.
I don't actually know that much about like Nikola Tesla and.
I got that Cards
Because
Against Humanity.
Nikola Tesla was the one that gave us the AC/DC when
Sorry, Randy.
you could have picked a better song.
We will be in concert.
I've got great balls. You've got great
next
balls.
week. Our tickets are selling
I'm
right
power
now.
and thunder, lightning and rain. I'm coming on like a hurricane. Come on now. Keep it up to date.
Okay, so everybody, we're selling tickets to our concert next week. They are about $5 a piece.
Madison Square Garden, be there. I don't know how I'm getting there, but
Our first concert will be right outside of the
Shaky.
right outside of the.
It's gonna be right outside of McDonald's.
Yes. I was gonna say human resources place. It's right outside. No, it's inside the McDonald's. McDonald's is sponsoring us now. We're being
Right
sponsored
in the
by
bathroom.
McDonald's.
Bathroom in McDonald's near a theater near you.
A theater near you. Be there or be square, and make sure you bring pants and a lot of cash.
Oh,
Because we need them.
Wait, the pants or the cash?
Yes.
Okay, I guess apparently Randy needs pants and cash.
Oh, nobody's gonna play Cards Against Humanity with me? You all suck.
we're in the middle of a podcast.
That's the point!
Coming from the guy that was playing Pong.
Hey, look, at least I can
Alright.
at least I can stream Pong, so it, people like look at it and be like, "Huh, he's playing Pong." Like,
I swear, if you just put gameplay of footage of Pong, everyone's gonna be like, "I'm just here to watch Pong. I don't care what they're saying."
Come on, they made a movie out of it.
Cards Against Humanity. People will be actually interested.
See, no, what I have a feeling what's gonna happen is it's gonna get up. They're gonna just watch up to the point where he's playing Pong, and then after he stops playing Pong, they're just gonna leave. They're just not gonna watch the rest of the podcast.
I don't think it will.
I think it will.
if I could go back and like talk to anyone, I would probably go back to the Tudor times. I'd probably talk to Henry VIII and be like, mate, how? Tell me, show me your wisdom, share your secrets. How the fuck did you pull like 6 women, you fat bastard?
I know, right?
And then the cheek of it.
Just said, bitch, get over here.
The cheek for him to just go and kill half of them. Like, what?
All because they all sired him daughters.
To be fair, and also, like, he created the Church of England. Like, he wanted divorce. Pope said no. He was like, right, I'll create my own church. Fuck you. That's the most English thing ever.
The right.
It's like the most English thing ever. It's like, all right, I'll do it my way then, motherfucker. Just stubbornness.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Patrick.
Yo.
Or David. If you could go back in
It's
time
sincere.
and talk to anybody, who would you go back and talk to?
Oh, I love this. To be honest, I would go back and talk to Hitler.
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew it.
Him and George Washington.
I'm surprised he
Why?
didn't say Napoleon.
Why would I want to meet a French dude?
Okay, so there goes all
I
our
mean, all
friends
they do is
doing.
drop their weapons, and they don't even fire them.
Well, there goes the fucking sponsorship
Apparently
from the
not.
French stick baker, eh? God damn it! Fuck's sake!
Well, there goes. You know, I had coupons. We were gonna give away coupons for Olive Garden. Not anymore. We can't do that.
You could
That's
say
gone.
goodbye to the fucking cheese deal I had going on. God damn it.
I got your cheese hanging, baby.
But no, I would go back and to be honest, if I could keep the time machine with me, as time goes on, to be honest, I want to see Hitler win just so I can see what it would look like, what the future would look like, and then go back and just, do it again and let the Allies win.
I mean, I would...
Okay.
Newsflash,
All right.
we already did.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then I would go see
Newsflash,
George
by the
Washington.
way, okay, if you let that happen, and then you go back to a point in time in history, you know what's going to happen is
I'm
that
not
it will
going
be
to
altered.
exist.
Not only that, is you probably won't exist, but time will be altered, and heck, when you step out of your time machine, they might be like, hey, he helped us win. We're killing him anyway, though, because why not? Because,
God damn it.
what?
I would love to go back and watch Hitler and... Not, I wouldn't want to talk to him, but I'd be
I
intrigued
want
to
to talk
see...
to the guy, I really do.
I would be intrigued to see what happened. Like, go back to, like...
Oh,
19
what actually happened to
Go
Hitler?
from, like, 1915 and just watch him, like, through key points in his life. So,
Grow
like,
up, yeah.
Well, his mum died. That was one. And then World War
Yeah.
One. And then...
Him
his
getting
best-
to art school.
His
and-
best friend died also in World War I as well.
Mm.
Which, he was actually... If the sniper would have aimed to the left instead of the right, would have killed Hitler. One.
Because here's the thing with history, like, there's, like, nowadays it's a lot more fact. But if you go back to then, like, a lot of it is opinion based, like, especially when it comes to, like, elusive people like Hitler. It's like, well, was he? Like, did this happen? Like, there are a couple of theories as to why he hated the Jews, but it wasn't specifically just the Jews, and a lot of people forget that. Yes, he killed 6 million Jews, but in total he killed just shy of 11 million people in concentration camps. You know, that included,
Yeah, he did.
you know, people with disabilities, blacks, and, you know,
Romney.
Kidding me?
Although I
You kidding
found-
me? Hitler has the best kill-death ratio ever.
What I found, fuck's sake, What I
And
found really
there
funny.
goes our censorship. That's gone.
What I found really funny was there was a Muslim division of the SS, which I found intriguing. I was like, oh, I see. But yeah, no, I think that'd be a good shout, Hitler. Going back and seeing why. But by the end of the war, he was so completely off his head on like LSD and shit. Like, guy went.
Yeah, he knew he was finished. Now, had he waited and not invaded Russia and finished off Britain, then took Africa, he would have gotten away with it and didn't declare war on America. He would have gotten away with it.
Actually, no. Either way, the African front would have still been lost, though. He would have never been able to take Africa. The African front was lost. It was a fight. It was a losing battle.
I don't know about that, because once he finishes off Britain, he can then commit those forces over to Africa and push the British out.
But it wasn't just the British in Africa. You had the French.
Well, yeah.
You know, the French were a
too.
big part in Africa as well.
And the biggest reason why the Germans lost in the African front was they kept losing their supply lines. Nothing Rommel could have done could have helped them win the African front, even if he heavily guarded their supply lines. Eventually, some point down the line, where he would have pulled forces to guard the supply lines, he would have lost the African front. The African front was pretty much just have Rommel go there, see what he can do, while they try to, do work throughout.
I love how Finland beat the shit out of the Soviet Union.
They were a Finnish sniper who just was killed a ridiculous number of people in like a week or something, and it was like, I'm pretty sure it was a Soviet war because it wasn't very long. That didn't last very long. It was very short conflicts between Finland and the Soviet Union.
So Stalin put in this law and regulation for the Soviet army that anyone taking a step back would be shot on sight. That motherfucker, he let his own son get killed from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is ruthless, and that dude's a fucking hero. When it comes to World War II.
Also, you have to think about it, is not only did they have that, because Russia, they only had enough to where every other soldier had a gun. Every other soldier had a gun, every other soldier had ammo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to still take that kind of, in the mind.
I find it because I've been reading a book, and it's D-Day Through the Eyes of a Nazi.
Oh, by the way, we hit our 2-hour mark.
Mm-hmm. It's called D-Day Through the Eyes of a Nazi, which is intriguing. Because the way the propaganda had sold, the enemy to the troops was basically like they're coming to invade us and take our country. Not where when we were trying to land at France, they're coming to take France, they're coming to invade us, and then they're going to invade Germany, and then we're all going to be speaking English. It's pretty much what they told the soldiers, and they were like, "Oh hell no!" And this Nazi basically said and they kind of puts it into perspective, like the size of the operation. But he said, I didn't think that many boats could fit in the channel, and the channel's the bit of sea between France and England.
Yeah, and the thing is, the soldiers guarding that border, they weren't first-rate soldiers. they were second rate, and like they had minimal training, and they were just thrown in from like fat 40-year-olds to just kids who are in Hitler Youth.
Well, it depended because you had the Western Front, which is what we were fighting, and then there was the Eastern Front.
The war on two fronts.
What tended to happen was you got injured on the Eastern Front, you were sent to the Western Front. So you weren't necessarily inexperienced, you were just injured, and it's like, right, well, you can't fight properly, so we're going to send you that way. And then, and what it was they wanted to move tanks to the beach, basically.
Yeah, and they couldn't do it.
The day before D-Day, and Hitler was asleep, and they didn't want to wake him. So it was like, we'll risk it. We'll just wait for it to wake. But then D-Day happened.
If it wasn't for that, D-Day would have been a complete failure because those tanks would have been there.
Because Rommel and Guderian would have marched those tanks down and rolled them right onto the beaches, and that would have been it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they were so afraid of Hitler and what he would do. Oh my God, they didn't want to chance it and end up being shot because they woke him up from a nap. On the biggest thing that was, because he said it was going to happen at Calais, and they didn't want to prove him wrong. Because anybody prove him wrong, guess what? They get a bullet in the head.
I mean, to be fair, I think D-Day would have been a lot harder. I don't think it would have been a failure, because they'd have just started firing shells from the sea.
Well,
if they'd have seen tanks, because obviously they'd have looked through periscopes and shit and be like, right, there are tanks there. Well, let's just fucking shell them first.
They did that for hours on end, and they still didn't get the gun positions.
Yeah, no.
The guns at Pointe du Hoc would have been in place. They would have opened up and really laid Omaha to waste.
There's a very big difference between specific gun positions and tanks. If there's tanks across the entire beach, all you have to say to the ships is like, aim for the beach. Like, you can't not miss a tank. And it wasn't just Omaha, you had Dunkirk, not the entirety of Normandy. Like, it was all, like, and this is what I'm saying, like, a lot of people seem to forget the sheer scale of D-Day. Like, it was the entirety of Normandy. The Normandy landings, like, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Gold,
I've been,
Sword,
I've
Juno, Omaha.
Yeah, I've Dunkirk. I've had I've had the privilege of going
Dunkirk
to...
is far north, man. It's north of Calais.
Dunkirk was a D-Day.
Dunkirk was the evacuation.
No, that was an evacuation.
But the Germans didn't move in.
It was still part of the thing, though. It was like, right, evacuate. Like, I've had the privilege of going to the memorial at Normandy, and it has probably one of the most surrealist experiences I've ever had. That's where they filmed the opening and ending of Saving Private Ryan.
Oi.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of actually going down to Seoul when I was in Korea, where they had the Korean War monument put up down there. That was
just crazy. And it's so quiet. Like,
by the way, Dunkirk wasn't part of the D-Day invasion.
It was part of, like he says, it was part of the evacuation.
Evacuation.
Still part of the same operation.
Not at all.
It is. The invasion is just
led to the invasion.
Yeah, the evacuation.
If it hadn't been for them getting the miracle from Dunkirk, it would have been a whole different matter.
Now, one thing though I think would have been personally a genius plan was what they should have, like, the conversation we had is Rommel, they should have moved the tanks, on the beach to stop them. Because here was the thing, is what they should have done is the tanks that they had going towards Russia should have rerouted them back towards Omaha and the invasion points. Because here's the thing, at that time, the tanks that were in Russia, they weren't going anywhere because they had made the worst idea of they attacked Russia in the winter. Most of their tanks were locked down in the snow.
Late summer, early fall.
It wasn't the fact that they were locked down in the snow. What the biggest issue they had with the tanks, and this is in the book I'm reading. The biggest issue they had with the
froze.
No, is they ran out of fuel.
It was so cold, gasoline started freezing.
It was like, so they had, like, there wasn't enough fuel to keep the tank running and keep the men warm. So it was like, so when they stopped overnight, they had to shut the engine off, which meant most of the crew died for freezing. And stuff like, and then they ran out of fuel and shit like that.
Because when they sent army groups south to the Mykops, Hitler rerouted them north again instead of letting them go ahead and take it.
Yeah. Because, yeah. And I, personally, if what would have been a smart idea was to have taken a, look back at history and taken a page out of Napoleon's book of when Napoleon tried invading Russia. When did he try invading it?
In the winter.
In the winter. What happened?
The Russians burned their own buildings so the French would freeze.
Exactly. The so-called bring a winter coat.
I mean, to be fair, like, even looking back, all you had to do was look back, 20 years? And be like, right, Wilhelm got greedy. And that's exactly what Hitler did. Hitler got greedy. And then... But what annoyed me was, like, reading... When I was studying it was...
Well, I mean,
he broke the Treaty of Versailles. Like, he broke the Treaty of Versailles, like, 7 times before... publicly. Before he invaded Poland. And and I understand, like, the amount of money, it would have cost to go back to war with them. But at that point, if they'd have done it as soon as he started rearming the Rhineland, right, as soon as he started doing that, they'd have gone, right, let's fucking crush him, right, and done that, he'd have been stopped and, like, halted. It's like, well, we shouldn't have done that. But they didn't. They were like, well, it's his country. He should have soldiers there. And then he took back, the top of Czechoslovakia. So it's like, well, it did belong to him.
Like, oh, I want this. And the British were like, no. And then he took it anyway. They were like, okay, well, we'll let you have that.
Well, it wasn't just the British.
It was not saying no more.
It wasn't just.
So he signed it. And then he took the rest of the country. And Britain was like, yo, dude, what the fuck? He's like, what? I'm Hitler.
Like, no,
can I just something different?
Just to interject, it wasn't just Britain, the US, France, it was everyone who signed the Treaty of Versailles. Oh man, do not
Well, the thing
don't get me started.
When they started the Treaty of Versailles, they set their own ground for the Second World War. Because they made the reparations so horrific.
They did.
They really screwed them. Instead of going, all right, make it decent, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and we'll be good. That would have stopped Hitler right there. But because the reparations were so harsh, it started
Germany into a depression. Yeah.
Depression, hell.
Stupid.
That was...
Inflation went through the fucking roof.
That was rock bottom, yeah. That was worse than ours.
And that's what allowed the fringe groups like Hitler's and
He was the working class party,
who actually
pre-Nazi.
subverted a party that beforehand he actually went in and actually took over the National Socialist Party.
Socialist. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it became the Nazis.
And then when he, after the attempted putsch in Berchtesgaden, after that, and that's when he went to prison for a while and wrote Mein Kampf and all.
Yeah, I actually read that book, and it rambles. I mean, that's because it was written down word for word, and there was no editing. It just rambles and rambles and rambles. So while he's sitting there in prison, and the judge gave him a secretary so he could write a book, she just sat there typing all the words he said.
But once he made his point and actually became Chancellor of Germany, the night of breaking glass, he not only took most of the country, but he also went into the SA's leadership. I think it's Hans Röhm, had him killed, and a whole bunch of other people killed within his own party, so that he would be the sole heir for the party.
Yep, we actually had a Nazi blimp.
The Night of Broken Glass was it was a program against the Jews. Was the Night of Broken Glass?
Wait, I thought it was the Night of Long Knives.
Oh, you're right. No. That's the Night of Broken Glass. That is the thing.
You had Night of the Long Knives. Night of the Long Knives? That's
the Night of the Long Knives,
yeah,
which is the Rhone incident stuff.
Yeah.
The guy, it's one of those things, like, the guy was sick, but the guy was a fucking genius. Like,
I'll be right back.
Oh yeah.
No, he was charismatic.
He was a fucking genius when it came to
All right.
economics.
Nathan, thank you for having me on your podcast today. I'm going to go ahead and switch voice chats real quick and talk to some people and probably get into SOTOR.
we're probably looking to wrap this up anyway soon, because it's ran
I mean,
well
it's
past
been
time.
2 hours.
But actually,
Longer than 2 hours.
good is 2 hours 13 minutes.
Close enough.
At least we know we can do it. Like,
I know, right?
Now all we need is a script.
script, yeah.
No script.
So
A moderated script, so that we have points we can talk about and not ramble like we have.
Actually, we may as well close it off now. So thank you to everyone who listened. And
remember,
if you're watching this back on the channel, thank you very much for watching. Well, listening.
And bugger off, you ugly newt.
Thank you very much to these lovely gentlemen for making this possible, because it kind of felt as shit within the last hour. I'm not gonna lie, there was nobody. I was like, oh fuck. And these
make sure you buy our tickets to our concert at your local McDonald's.
And so yeah,
T-shirts at sale at your store.
There'd have been no podcast without these beautiful bastards.
I would like to make a shout out to Envy. Let's make a shout out to Paul and a few others like Luna. Okay, I'm done.
And Carl.
Well, if we're making,
Carl.
Yes.
What did you do this time, Carl?
If we're making shout-outs, we might as well also throw Rue in there. We might as well throw everybody else we know in there while we're at it.
We'll throw them under the car.
Yeah.
So, boys and girls, this time next week, I hope to do it about the same time, 6 p.m. EST. That's 11 o'clock at night, GMT, Standard Time, Greenwich. Thank you again. Thanks, guys, for doing this with me.
Thanks for having us.
No problem, man. Just talk to my Asian next time.
Welcome to the race
you need
fields,
David. Just talk to David. We need him again. Yeah, and let's wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we shall catch you next week. probably the same time, maybe a different guest panel. Who knows? Who knows? If it's about as disorganized as it was this week, it could be just me and the cat.
Which may be better than the whole lot of us.
Don't worry about that. I'll be here.
So yeah, guys, thanks very much for watching, and we shall catch you
All right, man.
next week, same time. Bye!
Peace.
Ciao!